Coming up on this week's Gadget Show Web TV, John's reviewing the Cowon X7. I bring you this week's best tech news, and we interview the people behind the latest blockbuster film, Tron Legacy. Welcome to this week's Web TV. Coming up on today's show, we talk to the cast and crew of one of the best films to catch over the Christmas holidays, the long-awaited Tron Legacy. First up though, John's been checking out Cowon's X7, which is their latest large-capacity MP3 player, with a 4.3-inch touchscreen and a built-in radio. But can it keep up to the high quality of Cowon's previous PMPs?
Hard drive music players don't seem so fashionable these days. Apple haven't done a major update to their once so trendy iPod Classic since 2007. It hasn't shared in the sound quality improvements that have made the iPod Touch a respectable music player since its second generation. Cowon, however, haven't forgotten that some people do like to carry large music libraries around with them. And they've come up with this, the X7, which is available in versions with a 120GB hard drive or 160GB. It obviously feels quite a substantial player, but not outrageously so, and they do claim a really very impressive 103 hours of battery life on music playback, with 10 hours battery life on video playback. I haven't tried that, but I have listened to it for quite a while, and it scarcely seems to have made any impression on the battery meter at all. Now, you'd expect a Cowon to have absolutely brilliant sound quality, and this is no exception. In fact, it's arguably even better than some of their earlier players. It really is that good. I've tried it with a whole range of music and a whole range of headphones. Everything from bassy Dr. Dre's through classic PX100s and HD25s to noise-cancelling QC15s. And it sounds brilliant with all of them. And it's easy to drag and drop music straight to the player through the admittedly non-generic USB cable. The only slight problem I had was with the artwork, which seems to expand rather than fit the screen. And I don't think the effect will be to everyone's taste. Video plays back well with good viewing angles, though the colours aren't that bright and the resolution isn't that fine. It's 480 by 272 pixels. And you can't drag and drop videos directly, in my experience. I actually managed to transfer some across, MP4 videos of roughly the right resolution, through Windows Media Player. But I think for most of your video transfer needs, you're going to be converting videos, probably using Cowon's own Jet audio software. Now, the X7 isn't a mini tablet like an iPod Touch. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no web browser, you can't go adding apps to it, and I'm not sure you'd really particularly want to use it for any of those things with the resistive touchscreen that takes quite a bit of a shove to operate. But you do get a few utilities built in, like a stopwatch and a calculator, and there's a really rather good FM radio, which strangely seems to work better on the Korean settings than the European ones. And you can record from it, or from the internal microphone, or using a line-in setting. There's also Bluetooth, which works pretty well. Another thing you'd expect from a Cowon is a clunky user interface, but with the X7 they've really made an effort to improve. A few quirks still remain. I mean, when you're playing back music, the way to get back into the library is to press a button called Open, which really isn't very intuitive, and some of the icons do look rather garish, but it's definitely an improvement, and you're not really buying an X7 for a smooth user experience. You're buying it because of its excellence as a music player. And I'm sure eventually flash drives will take over from the hard drive in this market, but if you've got a large music collection, at the moment this probably is the best music player in the world.
Right, news time now. And first up, Microsoft could be ready to unveil tablets running Windows 8 at CES in January. Unnamed sources suggest that Microsoft's keynote could be wrapped up with the arrival of the next generation of Windows, as well as Samsung and Dell tablets. The Samsung device is described by another source as similar in size and shape to the Apple iPad, but not as thin. There have been widespread rumours that Microsoft is going to show off something more suited to slate and tablet PCs than Windows 7, and that could apparently be Windows 8. But it's unsure if the OS Microsoft shows off is actually Windows 8 or an adapted tablet-friendly version of Windows 7. But the talks of Samsung and Dell tablets being shown off is highly likely, and that they're running a new operating system would make perfect sense. But whatever happens, it looks like CES 2011 will be a hugely exciting event. And to keep up to date, make sure you keep checking back with us during the first week of January. Next up, network provider 3 has announced a new tariff offering a truly unlimited data service for those people who sign up to its The One plan. With the launch of the iPhone 4, unlimited data tariffs look set to be a thing of the past, as with the world of data-hungry apps, networks realised that phones were getting hungrier for their precious data, so most networks now come with plans with set limits. However, 3's latest The One plan is offering what they claim to be a true all-you-can-eat data plan. For £25 a month, it includes 2,000 anytime minutes, 5,000 3-to-3 minutes, 5,000 texts, and all-you-can-eat data. So if you are a data-hungry user, this tariff could be very tempting. This week sees the release of Tron Legacy, the follow-on to the cult classic from 1982. This time the film utilises the latest film technology available to create a truly stunning 3D experience. So to find out more about the painstaking efforts that went into making the film, we headed off and talked to some of the key people behind it.
Where am I?
The Grid, a place of infinite possibility.
It's incredible.
More beautiful than I ever dreamed. And more dangerous than I ever imagined.
Here they come!
Yeah! Is our destiny.
It started with a meeting I had with Sean Bailey, the producer on the movie, about 3 years ago. You know, there's no script. There was just the very beginnings of an idea. My approach was to embrace what I loved about the original, to make it really feel like the original Tron in terms of its design, to embrace those original characters and find a way to evolve it forward to 2010.
I mean, Joe Kosinski really loved the original. He wanted to stay true to the kind of aesthetic and the themes of it, but he had the most interesting way of updating it, of kind of understanding how that world would have evolved as technology itself evolved.
You know, we wanted a real human story at the center of this film. A father and son that have been pulled apart 20 years ago, and this is the story of the son going in search of his dad.
Can we play doubles on the same team?
We're always on the same team.
And then we pushed the envelope technically in a number of different areas. We shot this movie in 3D, you know, drawing inspiration from, you know, a movie like Wizard of Oz, where they went from black and white to color when Dorothy gets pulled in. It seemed like it made a lot of sense. That pull into the grid world was a great time to go to 3D. We innovated in costumes. We built real illuminated suits for this film, as opposed to kind of hand painting them like the first one.
So we looked at the first film. Sid Mead is an amazing designer, and I'm a huge fan of him. So looking at his artwork helped a lot. And we carried some vehicles over from the first one, which look now totally like 80s edgy cool. And the new ones are much more sleeker and contemporary and way more organic, so you can easily tell those two worlds apart. We were located in Burbank, close to Hollywood in Los Angeles, and the shooting actually happened in Vancouver in Canada. But the shooting also starts basically after all the designs are done, because, you know, sets have to be built, all the cockpits are built, the light cycles are built in a very arbitrary way. Very simple, but at least the actors can be on it.
We were working in incredible environments, designed in the way that, you know, only Tron can be. Everything was glowing and beautiful, slick, futuristic. So you'd walk onto set every day and just be transported yourself. I think the green screen that we did do was kind of interesting. It was a challenge, but it was fun too. I mean, you know, you're in an adventure world. You're creating, and using your imagination is kind of part of the game.
You know, our most ambitious kind of technical hurdle, I would say, in this film was the idea of creating a fully digital human being in this character, Clue. Jeff Bridges plays two characters, Kevin Flynn and Clue. One's 60 years old, one's 35. So creating a digital character where Jeff gets to play against himself, I think, is another first.
I'm not your father, Sam.
remember Pole Position was one of my favorites. So maybe, you know, being a race car driver would be a cool experience.
That would probably be Gran Turismo. That's my favorite game because I'm not playing too much computer games, but that is so cool because just beating your own lap time by a fraction of a second can be more exciting than I ever thought.
I'm so bad at them. I mean, I recently tried to play Red Dead Redemption while we were making Cowboys and Aliens because it kind of looked like our movie, so I was interested. And I died immediately. I tried to play Tron Evolution, which I'm in. I died immediately. So all these games, all these worlds seem very dangerous. And I haven't found one yet that I think I would do well in. Maybe a good old, like, Super Mario Brothers, just hopping on blocks. I think I could handle that world.
Well, that's all we've got time for today, but we'll be back soon with more news and reviews. Unfortunately, this Monday night show is the last in the current series, where Susie, Jason, John, Otis and Pollyanna will all be looking at their best moments from the series. But fear not, because we'll all be back again in February with a brand new series. In the meantime, though, if you want to keep up to date with all the goings-on here at The Gadget Show, make sure you check out our Facebook and Twitter pages for the latest goss. But from me here at Web TV, it's bye for now.